So today, my case is about Mona Elizabeth Blades.
I swear that name sounds familiar.
Because this is a big case.
Big case.
This is a current case. Currently open.
Okay.
Yes.
How many years later? What? When
Don't
did it happen?
fucking
When did
make me mad.
When did something happen?
So, this is a missing person case.
Okay. Yeah.
There is no outcome. Okay, so this is sort of like really bad cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So she went missing the 31st of May.
Yeah.
1975.
Okay.
She has never been found. Okay, so I don't know why I've written this, but I've written this, so I'm just going to read it out. So at the time Mona went missing, I'm going to try and say Moana halfway through this, so just bear with me. But she was 18. She was 5 foot 6 inches, fair complexion, honey brown hair, blue eyes. She, honestly, going through this case and reading all the statements about her, she seemed like such a free spirit. So, she was living in Hamilton with her sister Lillian, brother-in-law Tom, and baby niece Angela. On the 31st of May, 3 days before she was due to start her new job at a dairy in Hamilton, she decided to hitchhike to Hastings for Queen's birthday weekend, in which she was going to surprise her family for her young nephew's first birthday. She'd even brought him a gift, a set of colourful plastic tumblers. So Hamilton to Hastings is about 4 hours drive, but with the long weekend traffic would have been way worse. She left wearing a green rugby jersey with a white collar, which was worn under a fawn jersey. Light green slacks, a black duffel coat, brown shoes with yellow laces, sounds like Doc Martens, carrying a brown hitchhiker's pack and a brown shoulder bag.
So she was obviously going away for a bit.
Yeah, so she was hitchhiking to wherever.
Yeah.
So Tom, her brother-in-law, dropped her off at Cambridge Street, which is on State Highway 1, early in the morning. So no one realised she was missing until 3 days later, when her sister phoned the family home as Mona's job was starting and she had not returned. She never arrived at the family home and no one noticed, as she was showing up to be a surprise. So the last confirmed sighting of Mona was in Taupo. So the initial investigation, this is going to be a long one, so hold on to your butts. Okay. When the police were notified, they immediately launched the search using helicopters, dogs, and heat-seeking devices. So a physical search was undertaken between Taupo and Napier for the entire distance of the particular road, which was 200 k's, including Martier Road. So police did find 4 dresses along this road, but none of them were Mona's.
Oh, so just ladies having some fun. Skinny dipping, whoop whoop.
Never getting dressed again, whoop whoop.
Yeah, that's the sad side of it. Anyway.
So, truck drivers testified that he had seen a girl fitting Blade's description running towards and getting into an orange Datsun, which is what escalated the missing person inquiry to a homicide. I will go into further detail about this theory soon. So, the police went deep into the ranges of the Napier-Taupo Road. They went to examine what a hunter had thought was a grave. 2 weeks after the initial search began, police announced that they were searching for an orange Datsun, and a $10,000 reward was posted for any information leading to a conviction. The initial investigation took 6 months and 5,000 hours. Her body and none of her belongings have ever been found.
Yeah.
Not one piece of physical evidence.
Yeah.
And no one has been charged in connection with the disappearance.
So
and
no one was
presumed
charged
murders.
this whole time?
No, no one's been charged. So...
That's coming up 50 years as well.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, far out.
So there was a book written by Kelly Blanchfield, and it says the police received a letter nominating a suspect. The sender went through and cut out the man's name out of letters from magazines and newspapers and attached it to the bottom of the letter. So you know in them real bad spy movies?
Yeah, when they have them cut out and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
That's what they did. So the police received a letter like that.
Yeah. And with someone's name at the bottom
yeah.
of it. Yeah.
Like convicting someone.
Yeah.
The police have engaged with the coroner over the years, but no inquest has yet been held.
Well, there's nothing to do anything on, is there?
Yeah, but my other case, Wendy Mayers,
Yeah.
they've done an inquest and declared her dead
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because she's not yet declared as dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so reported sightings. So the first sighting, 10 a.m. Saturday the 31st of May, a witness saw a young girl fitting the description of Mona wearing a long green parka on the corner of Lake Terrace and Titarupinga Street in Taupo.
Good stuff.
So a young woman was seen at another sighting. A young woman was seen at an information centre. The woman who served the woman said that they had a conversation, and she said the information. Oh my god!
Wait,
that does
what?
not make sense. So a woman also
Just a random woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
A random woman was seen at an information centre.
Yeah.
The worker there who served the young woman said that they had a conversation, and she said that the lady was travelling to Hastings to visit her parents.
Okay.
So
Could have been.
the young
Mona.
woman who was seen had a pack on but left it at the door.
Oh.
Next sighting, 10:30, Saturday the 31st of May. A man working at the Waipapahi fruit shop saw Mona walking past the shop. She joined another female hitchhiker and got into a darkish blue/green station wagon car which drove away in the direction of Napier Taupo Highway. This witness personally knew Mona.
So it was definitely Mona that
It
they
was-
saw then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another sighting. 3 independent witness statements saying that a young woman fitting the description was seen between 12 and 1:30 at the Spa Hotel in Taupo. One of the witnesses spoke to the young woman who identified herself as Mona Blades. They then advised she got into a red station wagon outside the bottle shop at the Spa Motel. The other 2 witnesses both remember 2 girls, one matching Mona's description, drinking together at the Spa Motel. So the newspaper headings at this time were disgusting, and I'm not going to say what they are, but they turned this into something sexually weird. So you can search them if you want, but
Yeah,
they
I'm
made
good.
it fucking weird.
Yeah.
In July 2018, TVNZ released a documentary on the case called Cold Case. In this documentary, they reviewed the case with new detectives and re-examined the original files. During this documentary, they discovered that police's perception of Mona was different to who she really was. So when the family initially provided pictures to the police, they were from when Mona was a bridesmaid, when she had longer hair.
Okay.
When she went missing, she had a shorter mullet-styled haircut. So it was long at the back and short on the sides. So it was also described as a David Bowie-style mullet.
So she looked completely different to the
Yes.
photos, pretty much.
One witness saw Mona and they had initially thought she was a boy due to her haircut when they gave her a ride. As the family had used an older photo, this could have caused confusion with the public.
Yeah.
Stuart Guy was an original detective on the case, which involved the recent Cold Case episode. He was involved in the recent cold case episode. He said with the new investigation, he was blown away with what the team had found. So during the documentary, one of the detectives on the case said that he believed that Mona didn't leave Taupo alive.
Oh, okay.
Suspects. There have been about 5 suspects on this case.
But none of them have been charged with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Freeman, who had rented an orange Datsun the weekend Mona went missing. When the police announced that they were looking for a Datsun, John shot and wounded a student at St. Cuthbert's College in Auckland before shooting and killing himself.
Oh.
We'll come back to this. Charles Hughes, who was originally from Hamilton but now lives in Australia, he has remained a person of interest. I talk about why in a minute. So he had gone public in newspapers and on television about his frustrations and has denied having anything to do with it.
Yeah.
December 2005, Charles was re-interviewed for 5 hours by Detective Sergeant Tanya Blackburn and Detective John Hope. Charles said that he had constant pressure of being a suspect and being interviewed had ruined his life. Detective Sergeant Blackburn said that Charles had fully cooperated and voluntarily given DNA samples.
Okay.
So he had been interviewed several times in the 70s and 80s and again in 97.
And so why was he being interviewed? What's his...
Because he owned an orange Datsun.
Okay. Oh, okay. I mean, you can see where the police are coming from, I guess, but...
It gets interesting.
Yeah.
Another suspect had passed away but remained a person of interest. Police believe Charles and the other surviving man had access to the cars and links to the Matera Drive area. The police said that they had 2 other surviving suspects to speak to in the North Island. So in 2003, police were made aware of a garage floor which had Mona Blade's name and a cross inscribed in the concrete in a Huntley garage. So this was found when a new tenant of the house was removing carpet. It was later found that the name had been inscribed into the concrete 6 years ago when the owner of the house at the time had filled the garage floor and he wrote this as a joke. You are not reacting much.
No, this is my thinking. Like, I'm just taking it all in.
It was originally a pit that you would have used to work under vehicles. It was filled in before the home was sold in 1996.
So he just did it as a joke.
As a joke.
Okay.
They decided to inscribe a cross onto it as it looked like a burial site from the shape of the pit. The former owner of the property apologised to the family and the police in 1998 for wasting time.
Right.
In 2005, Mona's brother Tony Blades told the Daily Post that the family had not spoken to the media about their feelings as it was so hard on them, especially their mother.
So when they gave the photos, they didn't say anything.
They didn't make any public statements or anything like that.
Yeah.
They communicated with the police.
Yeah.
But they did not make any public media statements.
Yeah.
So sadly, their father Peter had passed away, not knowing what happened to their daughter. Their mother Wiramina passed away in 2011.
So she didn't know either.
7 years after her husband.
Yeah.
No. Information sometimes comes from former wives or employees who believe the identikit looks like someone they know.
Identikit? What's
yeah,
that?
so it's they've aged her up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. This one always gets me. Clairvoyants and psychics.
I love that they always are involved.
Pisses me off. But I saw something the other day on TikTok and it was really sweet and it was about a clairvoyant. So I'm a wee bit biased with them. But this fucking pisses me off. Right. So one clairvoyant sent a map with directions to where they thought Mona's body was. 'Twas not there.
Surprise, surprise.
Doris Stokes claimed in one of her books to have helped the police recover the body of Mona Blades. She did not. There is
Right.
no body.
Right.
Okay. Some more crazy claims.
Wait, was there money offered for them coming forward? Or did they just choose to...
They just chose, I believe, but
Yeah.
there was originally that 10 grand for the arrest of someone,
Oh, okay, yeah.
like in the other case that we've just
10
done.
grand back in the 70s would have been a lot of money
Yeah.
as well.
Oh, I should have transferred it. More crazy claims. So I'm only reading these so that you can understand what the family has had to go through and what the police have to deal with. Okay. A woman from Te Puke, through numerology, claimed Mona was taken by wicked scientists because they wanted her brain cells.
Oh. So,
Yep. Okay. Another woman said she knew Mona was a nurse and that she was a right little baggage. Mona was never a nurse.
what? This is crazy. I can't get over the scientist when we want your brains.
I should have read that one last.
Oh, jeez.
And another woman said she should have never been allowed to hitchhike and she ought to have her bottom smacked.
Oh my god.
She's 18.
Bro, let a girl live, honestly.
So we're going to jump into the theories. There's a few theories on this. So, are you still stuck on the science one?
Yeah, on the brains. She must have been a smart cookie. Oh, sorry, anyway.
Okay, Theory 1. Mona was last seen alive on the road between Napier and Taupo by a truck driver. She is said to have been travelling in the back seat of an orange Datsun 120Y station wagon. They also said that she could have been in a station wagon 1200.
Well, this is kind of, what did I do? The Christy, I've forgotten her last name, but the cases I did a while back when they focused on a white station wagon, and then it turns out there might not even been a white station wagon at all. It's just them focusing on something.
So the Datsun 120Y station wagon and the Datsun 1200, these are in fact the same car. I saw a lot of conflicting information on Reddit, but I confirmed this with a mechanic.
Yeah.
Because I live with one.
Yeah.
So those cars are in fact the same. So they were both station wagons. So if you Google a 120Y station wagon and a 1200 station wagon, they are the same. So the 120 and the 1200 refer to the engine size.
Yeah.
So the truck driver described the person driving the car, so the Datsun, as a bald, fat, middle-aged male, possibly wearing glasses. So a Datsun was also seen by a fencing contractor veering off the highway and stopping about 200 metres down Martier Road, which is a dirt road. When he drove past, there was a young woman in the car and an older man. When he drove back past a while later, the car was empty. The police now say that too much weight might have been put on the truck driver's statement that he saw Mona getting into the orange Datsun with a man. From this statement led to one of New Zealand's largest manhunts with over 500 suspects.
Wow.
Who had either owned or driven an orange Datsun were investigated.
And that was going back to that dude who went to Australia as well. He had that car and he was...
I think we talk about that later.
Yeah.
So the documentary revealed that the truck driver's statement changed each time he was interviewed.
Right.
This could be as he was interviewed multiple times. So police were trained at the time to ask for more detail when interviewing, which meant interrupting during statements to ask questions. So new techniques used by police today discourage officers from doing this, as research shows that it can have potential impact on memory. The truck driver could also be influenced by what he heard in the media regarding the case.
Yeah, and the money as well.
But
there was still money then.
So it was made clear in the documentary that the truck driver was was not suspected of falsely making statements. So due to the police being so heavily focused on the truck driver's statement, they had overlooked possible sightings of Mona.
Right.
Theory 2. Gang or gang associates may have been involved. Mona was said to have some affiliations with biker gangs in Auckland and Hamilton. It is said that these gangs might have been travelling through to Wellington over the long weekend.
But that's going the opposite direction to her, isn't it?
They had to pass through State Highway 1.
Yeah.
There were also sightings of a red Toyota station wagon that was said to have been travelling with the gang. It was also said by another witness that they saw two people carrying a rolled up piece of carpet to the back of a car in Taupo. One man claims that members of the gang Highway 61 killed Mona and were talking about it in a flat in Auckland. He approached the Rotorua Daily Post after watching the cold case and said he was told by a friend who passed away 5 years ago now that a gang was involved. So a lot of hearsay.
Yeah.
So the man said while his memory was foggy, he remembers what his friend told him. He wasn't a member, but he has a loose association.
Right.
So, that stands on about as good as foundations as paper.
Yeah.
So, theory 3. A former cop accused another cop in January 2012. A former cop had accused another cop. In January 2012, police dug up a concrete laundry floor in a house looking for the body, but nothing was found. This was a house that the cop had lived in while he served as a sergeant for over a decade. So, I'm going to use his name, but I don't think he did it. But, yeah. So, the cop was called Derek, and the person that accused him was Tom Moller.
Mm-hmm.
So, Derek had passed away as of 2009. So, Tom started making these accusations. He's making accusations against a dead person who can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
So Tom Moller accused a former close friend, Derek Hinton, and is adamant the body remains in the floor of the home Derek once owned.
Right.
So he's now passed away. So they have completed sonar work to show that the body was not under the floor. They even dug up some of the floor with a concrete cutter and then drilled 80 centimetres down and probed another 80 centimetres without finding anything of interest on the case.
So this dude's just throwing his friend under the bus, pretty much.
So Derek's daughter, Pauline, wasn't surprised they didn't find anything.
Yeah.
She did confirm that her father owned an orange station wagon, but this was a Toyota Corolla. They also have proof that the floor was laid before Mona went missing. So Tom has been making accusations that Derek did it for years, but it's only as of 2012 that the police decided to follow up. An Auckland lawyer threatened Tom with legal action back in 2007 on behalf of the family.
Yeah.
So Tom spent many years collecting information on the case and still believes that the body lies beneath the property, but now states it's under the stairwell.
Right.
He also claimed that the current owners of the property believe this also. They didn't want to comment.
So what's in it for him then?
I don't know. So Tom has also claimed that Derek was involved in the case of a 13-year-old Tracy patient whose body was found in 1976. Derek was seen with another man in a green Swan Dry dumping a large black polythene article described as big enough to have been a body into a hole on Mr. Hilton's property near where a concrete mixer was operating. Tom also alleged that around the same time Derek had taken several bags of cement from another man's garage without asking. He was questioned at the police station about his orange Datsun, but was a Toyota Corolla, in relation to the case. He simply responded by saying, "If you think I did it, prove it." And that's when the inquiries into him stopped, until 2012.
Yeah.
So, theory 4, from Reddit. This is from user Green Fox.
Yeah.
So, a guy who was a loner hired a Datsun in Auckland over the same weekend Mona went missing and returned it with only a few Ks on the clock. The rental agency suspected that it was driven a lot further as it came back very dirty, but they thought he disconnected the speedo. The car had pumice under it as well. He went to a posh school, shot someone, and then shot himself.
So that was the dude.
John Freeman.
Yeah.
Theory 5.
Yeah.
We've only got 2 more theories, so just bear with me.
No.
Okay. Another man said to be elderly, living in New Zealand. He owned an orange Datsun at this time and said to have killed Mona and buried the orange vehicle with her inside somewhere on a dirt road that she was last seen on.
Okay, but what a waste of a car,
I
though.
mean, that's a lot of fucking work.
Yeah.
A young girl years later recounted a story that she found a doll with the name Mona on it under a home and her father punished her when she found it.
Oh.
Theory 6. This is also a Reddit theory. Reddit is fucking great. By Glorious Secret 16.
Yeah.
What a username. She was tired. She said she was tired of her life as a shop girl. Decided halfway to Hastings that it would be an opportune time to slip away and start a new life.
Yeah, but she was going to surprise her family, though.
Yeah.
So that doesn't really make sense. If she had a bad background, maybe.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like she is super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if anyone has memories of the event or is in a place where they are now able to share information they know, please contact the police as we want to know what happened to Mona and so do her family. No matter how insignificant the information is, hit them up. Call 0800 2653 2273 or 0800 555 111 with any information, and this can be anonymous.
Well, going with that, on Re News or RE News, I read it today actually, a podcast over in Australia actually found, I can't remember what it's called, but this podcast brought up this case from 40 years ago and found that a man murdered his wife and he's now being charged with her murder.
I'm going to look,
Just
I'm
from a
going to Google
podcast,
that. I'm
yeah.
going to Google that. That's great.
Yeah.
We're going to tell you what it is right now. Here we are. Podcast brings about conviction for 30-year-old murder. To Australia.
Yeah, it was like a Sydney man and he murdered his wife and a podcast.
Listen to it.
Yeah. Yeah, and a podcast just brought everything to the surface and caused him to be convicted or charged.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So that was some interesting stuff. This will be old news by the time this episode comes out because we're finally ahead of things for once. But yeah, it was very interesting. So screw you, man, for murdering your wife. How horrible. What an awful way to go as well. Your partner killing you. I couldn't cope with that.
What?
Well, I'd be dead, but...
You're talking about this other podcast?
Yeah, the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But
I got
what I'm
confused.
saying, if anyone's got any information about
Any
Mona
of our
Blades
cases.
or any of our cases, but particularly the open ones,
It'd be good to have that information so that we could...
Well, no, don't pass it on to us
no,
at all.
no, go to
don't-
the police.
Yeah, don't give it to us. We wouldn't know what to do with it.
We don't want to be those people that pass on that hearsay. It's only hearsay. So go to the police anonymously. Go anonymously if you're not confident.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the Mona Blades case. I really thought it was going to be longer than 30 minutes.
Still a good case though, and yeah, just focusing on if it wasn't that car, like they put all that emphasis on that car.
And not those potential sightings.
Yeah, and also with the family giving photos of her as a bridesmaid and not.
Yeah, but you can understand why they did it. We did.
Oh yeah, I'm not blaming them.
Yeah, they weren't in the generation of selfies. So how often do you? I don't even get photos of myself that often.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening.